don't think you have to know everything. It's good to have a little network of people that have done deals and will answer some little mini questions for you.
Yeah.
The questions that people don't like, people come to me all the time, Ross, how can I invest in real estate? I'm like, okay, let's do a seminar real quick, right? But if someone asks a specific question, like, hey, I talked to this seller, they want this price, I can only afford to pay this much. What are some options that you would give, or how would you work? If you give me a specific question, I like answering specific questions. I don't like the big vague questions. My answer is probably not right because the answer is different for everyone, you know?
Hey. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. I'm your host, Dwan Benton-Twyford. I'm America's most sought after real estate investor. And as you can see today, I have a guest. So I have a wicked smart man, and his name is Ross Hamilton. And we are going to find out what Ross is all about here in just a minute. But just real quick, our motto at Dwanderful is people before profits. So if that's something that resonates with you and you like that and you're in the real estate investing business, I'm your girl. You can also opt in at Dwanderful, Dwanderful. I took Dwan and Wonderful and I made a new word, Dwanderful. I'll send you a free ebook, how to flip your way to a fortune, and talk to you about how to wholesale and flip houses. So that's my deal. So Ross, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here, and I love your wonderful aspect and how you put people first. As a real estate investor, that is not only good to do, but it pays dividends over time. You have to put people first to build your network and to do the right thing, because there's a lot of opportunity to be bad in real estate, and the good people always survive. Now that I've been in it for 20 plus years, I've seen that.
No, I see you are, but and you know that. But a lot of people are doing this. Oh, I just want to make a bunch of money. It's like, yeah, but in my case, I'm buying houses or buildings, some people in distress. So yeah, obviously, I do want to make a bunch of money, but it's got to be good for them too, because I don't want them to walk away and go, oh yeah, Dwan made all the money and I didn't get anything, and real estate investors suck, because that's this needs to be a win-win business that we're in. If you've been in it for 20 years, you know that.
It's a fine balance. But a reputation in real estate is a very powerful thing that will make you a lot more money than just an extra few grand here or there. So it's really good that your whole podcast and brand is based around that.
Yeah. No, I love it too. It's like, that's my thing. Obviously, we all want to make money, but I care about the people too. Okay, so when we have on our guest, and it's a man, you are today's wicked smart man. So I've got some questions, and I'm just going to ask you some fun questions. We're just casual around here. And then at the end, I kind of take some notes and I do a little summary. And this session is basically called Inside the Minds of Today's Millionaires. So we just want to kind of find out, like, what makes you tick. And hopefully someone listening can pick up a little nugget and go, oh, you know what? That's the thing I've been missing, or that was the piece I needed to hear. So we're going to really talk more about you than specifically about what you do, because, people that like you will go and check you out.
Yeah, exactly. And I will make sure that everything I say has golden nuggets sprinkled throughout it. I've learned a lot of lessons, some the hard way, some the easy way. And I love sharing that information with people.
All right. So we start off, we have a toast. Everyone that listens knows we do drinks with Dwan. So all of you listening, welcome. And to you, cheers.
Cheers.
Water, my exciting water today.
Hydration is important.
It is. And everybody take a deep breath, like shake out, whatever you got going on, and just tune in and hang out with me and Ross a little bit. And I guarantee you that you'll have some fun, You'll laugh and you'll learn some cool stuff. So, Ross, we're just going to throw you straight to the deep end. So, what I first want you to do is tell us who you are and in like a sentence or two, what you do and how we can reach you. And then we're going to ask questions and find out how you came to be Ross, who was on
Came
the
to
most
be.
wonderful real estate podcast ever. So we want to know, what's your deal?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I started out my career as a BMX rider, the semi-pro. I trained and rode with people
BMX,
like,
motocross.
yeah, people, no, bikes, little kid bikes where they do all
Oh,
the crazy flips.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, BMX. I was like, wait, is that motocross? Because my son was a motocross racer. The
Oh, nice. Yeah.
okay, got you. The bike.
Yeah. Yeah. So I
Fun.
started there and I had some great people I rode with every day. I rode with Dave Mira and Ryan Nyquist. They were like the Tony Hawk of
Yeah.
BMX. And I was doing really well in BMX until I had a really bad injury that put me out. And
Oh,
life kind of got shaken up a little bit. And I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I took the first job I could, which was actually, I'm not exaggerating here. My job title was dumpster diver. I would,
ah, dumpster diver. Oh my God.
yeah. So it's not rags to riches, maybe dumpsters to diamonds or something. I'm not quite sure.
Ah,
But
dumpster diver. So you had to,
yeah,
like, I have to just, we have to pause for a second. So you like went into dumpsters,
yeah, yeah. I
trash, or
actually,
you have to give us a
so
description of what that means. I've
yeah,
never
I
met
had
a person my
to.
whole life whose job was dumpster diver.
So I had to get in a box truck, which I had to hotwire to start because it was a really old truck. So I learned how to hotwire things like that. Drive around to the to certain dumpsters around town that were behind carpet stores, and I would jump in the dumpsters and I would pull out the scrap pad. So I'm sure you've done a rehab where you've pulled the scrap pad out, the stuff under the
Yeah.
carpet. It is just filled with all of the everything that ever spilled
Yeah.
for 40 years, right? The most disgusting part of flooring. And I would have to pick all of this up and shove it into a box truck and drive it back to a warehouse where I had to then take it out of the box truck and put it in a baler.
Oh
Now,
my
these
God.
balers would come down and they can crush a car. This baler had no safety equipment. It was actually disabled. And I had to hold my hand in there until it got almost close to crushing and then take my hand out to get a
Jay.
proper bale.
Okay, whatever
After
you
that,
got paid for that, it was not enough.
it was not enough. After that, I had to use a forklift to stack these bales. And the forklift didn't have any brakes.
Oh
So
my gosh.
the way I would stop is I would slam it into reverse, which caused all sorts of problems. But
Oh,
anyway, I was a dumpster diver.
uh,
That was my life for a little while.
I mean, I know that's a terrible, crappy job, but that's hilarious. I mean, oh my gosh. All the danger, whatever it was not enough payment. How old are you right now, Ross?
I just turned 41.
41. Okay, so go ahead and tell us what you
Yeah.
do now, because dumpster diver is fabulous.
Yeah, yeah. So, I had a point when I was dumpster diving where I'm like, Ross, you're made for more than this, right? I kind of cracked. I had
Yep.
one of those moments where I just had this feeling inside that I was destined for more than dumpster diving. So one day after dumpster diving, I drove straight to Barnes and Noble, a bookstore. Remember those?
Yeah,
And
I love Barnes and Noble.
yeah. And I just started reading books on finance. Now I'd go in there smelling like a dumpster, sipping on their free water. And I treated Barnes and Noble like a library because I couldn't afford the books.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
would read books, take notes, go back to that page, pick back up. And I just read books and I realized that more millionaires are made through real estate than any other profession.
Yeah.
So I wasn't the smartest individual, but I like to play the odds. So I decided to jump into real estate, and in a relatively short period of time, we can deconstruct this if you want to go that way.
We
Before
will,
I
but
was
first we
20,
just want to find out like what you actually do and how to get a hold of you, because it's really easy
oh
to
yeah,
talking and then at the very end go, oh wait, we don't have your contact info. So
yeah.
I always want to make sure you're in the top of the show notes.
No, that's great. So to fast forward and then we'll rewind.
Yeah,
I built and sold a
I've got
company.
questions to rewind us.
Yeah. I built and sold a company recently to First American for upwards of 80 million plus. I've been a very successful real estate investor I bought 176 properties last year. I built out connectedinvestors.com, which is a social network of nearly 2 million real estate investors. Privatelenders.com, which allows anyone to meet up with a private non-bank lender to fund their deals. So I've had a lot of success in real estate and in tech, and specifically real estate tech. So all the companies I mentioned, privatelenders.com, connectedinvestors.com, I don't own those anymore, but they're phenomenal companies with backed by a Fortune 100 $8 billion company that is just pouring money into it. So if you're not part of Connected Investors, or you were a long time ago and haven't checked it out, definitely check that out. What I currently do is I moved into kind of the nonprofit world, and
Oh, that's so nice.
I moved all of my influence, time, money, and my central focus into kind of the affordable housing side of real estate, because real estate is the number one way to become a millionaire, but it's also the number one way out of poverty in America. So I'm taking my influence and my focus and my tech background, and we're doing some really great things there. My website is called savinghomes.org, savinghomes.org. And really, because I sold my company, I'm not allowed for a while to sell real estate information anymore, but
Oh,
I can still give it all away.
oh,
So if
that's good.
you're if your listeners just email me, I'll send them the old course I used to sell for thousands of dollars, a few of my books, my planners. I just have a gift bag of value that I'd love to give your
Nice,
members.
nice. And how, where do
Nothing
they
to
email
sell.
you
Just
for that?
yeah, just shoot me an email. It's Ross, ROSS at successcap.com. Ross at successcap.com. And you can just, you don't have to write me an email. You can just say, send me stuff, and I'll send you all the stuff. If you have questions though, I see
I
all those
want to
emails.
see your
So
stuff.
yeah,
I'm gonna
get my
email you and say,
stuff.
hey, send me stuff.
Yeah, I will.
Processsuccesscap.com. That sounds fun. But that is really, I gotta tell you, what an interesting journey from. So if you're 41 now, so you were like 20 when you
I
got
bought my first
decided to,
house.
how old were
Yeah, I
you?
bought my first house at 18, 19.
Your
Like
first
right around
investor house or house like for you to live in
first investment property.
at
I
18?
bought an investment property before I bought a primary residence. Every house is an investment, even the one you live in.
No, they all
So
are.
it's, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's really great though. 18, like gosh darn, you were seriously ahead of the curve to be thinking like that at 18 years old.
Yes, it was. Well, what I did at a young age, after I had nothing, I found the most successful people I could find, and I asked them all the same question. This was before social media, so I had to read the newspaper,
Oh yeah, me
build
too.
relationships with people.
Yeah, me too.
And the question I asked is, if you were my age and I was roughly 18, 19, something like that, what would you do, knowing what you know? And two people gave me the same answer. They said, buy real estate and travel. So that's what
Oh,
I did. I started to buy real estate, and I was doing the 4 hour work week thing before it was a book. I used to travel every year. I'd backpack for at least a month or two while I was building my real estate business. So that kind of helped me become efficient and create automation, and helped me get really good at building teams,
yeah.
because I couldn't be there to do things. So it's kind of a cool exercise to take a month away from your business and see what crumbles. And then that will tell you what you need to fix. If you can't take a month away from your business uh, without it falling, then you have a problem. And if it's not growing, you have a job. You don't have a business. You need to be able to step away from your business. So it wasn't like I was thinking about that. I was just wanted to make sure I got traveling in young. And it was an absolute blast.
I still love to travel. I wish I would have started real estate and traveling at 18. It's like, gosh darn, I could have got so many good years in of just traveling around. Because you got to do it while you're young, while you feel like it, while you can carry all the backpacks and
Stay in hostels,
yeah. I
get
never did that.
robbed.
I traveled
Yeah.
to Europe a couple times backpacking, but I thought I was like, I don't know. I still have to have a hotel. I'm
Yeah.
still a hotel girl
There you go. There you go.
in the big picture. But I've always wanted to stay at a hospital, like to see what it's like. But then I get there, I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go get a hotel. So That's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids will like sleep anywhere, stay anywhere. I'm just like, yeah, I somewhere from like right out of the gate missed that whole. I just want to be fancier.
Hey, that's all right.
But that's so exciting that you did. So these companies that you sold, the first one you said it's privatelender.com and connectedinvestors.com. Those are owned by somebody else. What does Connected Investors do?
So Connected Investors is
I know you
essentially,
sold it, but like it sounds
yeah,
like people should know what it is.
yeah. It's essentially a social networking platform for real estate investors that has a marketplace tied into it and a network of private lenders. So you can go there and you can connect with other local real estate investors and you can find investment properties for sale and you can find funding and you can sell your properties. So it was kind of an all-in-one marketplace social network for real estate investors and cuts through all the clutter of Facebook and LinkedIn. People have got very good at just
Uh,
scamming you and
yes,
wasting
they
your
just
time.
spam you to death, don't they? It's like, oh my God, every single day. It's like, for the love of God, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, I get so many messages all the time. It's like, just please leave me alone. Really goes. Okay, so I want to. So let's back up a little bit. So you're 41 now. So when you were like 14, 15, 13, like where was that Ross living, and what was that like teenage puberty kind of guy? What were you doing, and what were you thinking about back then?
Um, you know, I got into riding bikes pretty young. So for as long as I can remember, I was training and competing on BMX bikes. And I learned a lot from that. When you're doing an extreme sport, you have to manage risk. Every trick is there's some risk associated with that. And that translated really well to business.
Yeah.
Also, just the people that I rode with were my friends. And then in competitions, they were the competitors. Right.
So these
So,
are the guys on the bikes that are like going down the rocks and
well, I do
doing
that
the
now. I do that now. But back in the day, I did BMX. So just big ramps,
just the big ramps. Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the big vert ramps,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
box jumps.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. No, I know. My when my
So
son did motocross, I was just like, I'd go to those races. I'm like, oh Lord, I just can't. I can't watch all
I,
this.
I would
It
not want to
makes
be a
me out of the
mother of
breath.
someone. Yeah. I would not want to be a mother of someone that does extreme sports.
No, he did it
Every
for a
day you
long
got to
time.
hold
He got
your breath.
sponsored for a while. I was like, you know what? He loves it. He's good at it. Let him go. But I'm telling you, it would be like, okay, we're gonna go to the races today. I need a Xanax and a glass of wine, so I can go there and not have a heart attack today.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do not recommend. Do you have any kids?
I have one 6-year-old little girl.
And when she wants to get into extreme sports, you're gonna be like, "Go, daddy's little girl."
Well, she likes riding horses. So that's kind of an extreme sport.
Yeah, it is.
Um, we do ride dirt bikes together. Like, uh, we play around a little bit, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, she'll be like, "Dad, I got a bike. Let's do BMX." You'll be like, no."
It'll be fun for a little while. Yeah.
It'll be
It'd
fun.
be
Yeah, I've
fun.
got all my grandkids on little four wheelers right now.
Oh yeah.
So stinking cute. They're just like riding around, putting around. I just think they're like, they're just so busy right now. So, and where were you raised?
I was raised in New York and moved to North Carolina when I was like 13 or 14.
So you were BMXing in Carolinas and in New York.
More in the Carolinas than in New York, but in New York I started, um, and then in the Carolinas that's all I did.
Nice. But you know what though? My kids were always into things like that. And I was always, other parents, oh, it's so dangerous. But you know what though? But kids that are into sports like that, they don't have time for drugs and parties and they don't have time for all that. And they can't come in hungover and go race or do something because they got to be on the top of their game. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather have my kids out there riding and jumping. And we have a 3-acre dirt bike track on our property. And I'd
Oh,
rather them
nice.
do that. Yeah. I mean, my grandkids are just like, yeah, the track's so big for them. But I think I'd rather have my kids doing that because they stay out of trouble. Do you find
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you got to be in shape, you got to take care of yourself, you got to eat right. You can't be like coming in all hungover and going and racing and doing flips and doing stuff like that. So I don't know. I was always like, I'm gonna let them do it because it keeps them out. I feel like it keeps them out of trouble.
It does. I mean, having too much time is not good. Too much, yeah, too much time, too much money. That's a recipe for disaster at a young age.
It is. Especially for
Yeah.
disaster at any age, I think, but especially
Yeah.
when you're young. So now you are into, so I love the thing about affordable housing. So
Yeah.
livinghomes.org.
Yeah.
So tell me what that is, because I already love it. I don't know what it is, but I already love it.
Yeah. So essentially, I made my first million, maybe similar to you, knocking on the doors of people that were in pre-foreclosure
Hmm.
and helping them out of their situation in one way or another
Yep.
through maybe helping them find a house or buying their house from them. There were so many different types of deals that we did with people, and it was all based off their situation and their needs. And I would be 23 or 4 sitting down with a 40-year-old who, with kids and a messy kitchen, buying their house from them,
Yeah.
pretending like I had I pretended like I had a boss named Dr. Elliot
Oh my God.
because I had poser syndrome, right? I didn't think people would take me seriously because I was so young. And
Yeah.
I always looked even younger than I was.
You look
So it
so
was like,
young now. I mean, you could pass for 30s all day.
yeah. So in your 20s, they're like, this kid's 15,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
know. I know.
I had this guy, Dr. Elliot, who I was gathering the information and bringing it back to him. But what that did for me, and a good little golden nugget here, is it allowed me not to have to think I had all the answers all the time. I can just have a conversation with someone, and then I can say, I'm going to get back to you on that. And then I would go to my mentors and my friends and be like, hey, what should I do about this? And they would give me some answers, and then I would go back to the individual. But so often people don't start investing in real estate because they think they have to know everything first, but you
So true.
only have to know the next step, you know? And it's just that, like, when I would train, I've done Ironman triathlons and stuff and many marathons. And whenever I was running a marathon, I wasn't running, 26 miles. I was running to the next telephone pole.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that's with real estate. So don't think you have to know everything. It's good to have a little network of people that have done deals and will answer some little mini questions for you.
Yeah.
The questions that people don't like, people come to me all the time, Ross, how can I invest in real estate? I'm like, okay, let's do a seminar real quick, right? But if someone asks a specific question, like, hey, I talked to this seller, they want this price, I can only afford to pay this much. What are some options that you would give, or how would you work? If you give me a specific question, I like answering specific
Yeah.
questions. I don't
I
like the big
agree.
vague questions. My answer is probably not right because the answer is different for everyone, you know?
It is. I agree. I like the specific questions too, because when they're really vague, it's like no matter what you say, they're
Oh,
just going to walk off and they're never going to do it anyway. And they're just like, how do
yeah.
I
Oh,
start? It's
but to
like,
get back to the
okay, so let's talk about, because I like
yeah,
how you got to just, so
to
I
get
get you were talking to
to get back to
homeowners, you're
saving
helping them
homes.
out. You had Dr. Elliot as
Yeah.
your big boss. That's brilliant, by the way.
So my fake boss, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's so,
Supposedly.
that's a good tip to give people. That's brilliant because then you don't feel the pressure of the whole deal and the whole situation.
Yes.
Okay, so Dr. Elliott helps you get your deals closed. You're doing deals. You build these great websites and do stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're
Exactly.
saving,
Exactly.
you're saving homes. And
Yeah.
are you helping people in trouble? Are you helping people find houses?
Yes. So the answer to that is yes. But so I always wanted to be able to help those people. So after I made all my money in real estate and in tech, I decided to create a nonprofit that helps specifically single parents that are losing their house to specifically foreclosure, but even eviction. And it helps them not get taken advantage of by real estate investors
Yeah.
to get the most for their property, to buy them some time to figure some things out. Because if you're a single parent, you got a kid, you probably have a dog. Like if an investor comes in and gives you 50 grand, The investor feels good. I've been that investor, but you can't get a place to rent because you have horrible credit and a
Yeah,
dog. Like
yeah,
you have to
yeah,
move in with a friend. Like
yeah.
there's really no options. So we're going to come in and help those individuals financially. And also we're going to help guide them through the real estate process, kind of knowing all the inside tricks. And there's a time for investors to be part of this as
Yeah,
well, because we do need investors, but we need to make sure that it's done in an ethical way. Uh, so Saving Homes comes in and we give the people a 0% no interest loan to stop the foreclosure. So now the house's foreclosure is stopped. They don't have to pay us back any specific time, but once the house sells in the future, the money comes back to the charity so we can help someone else. So what I like about it is donations echo throughout time. Like you can donate $500 today and it can help a single mother of three today and in 5 years and 20 years and it keeps going.
yeah.
So I got really excited about this model because after selling, I just wanted to do really big, impactful things with great people that last for generations.
Yeah.
So I was able to donate a significant amount of money into the charity, and other people in my network are as well. So we have the base, we're building the platform because essentially what it is, it's like a GoFundMe for people that are either losing a house and in the next iteration of it, people that need to buy a house.
Right.
Because essentially there's been a huge wealth divide that is only talked about a little bit. If you owned a house prior to COVID, you woke up today and you are equity rich, right? Like you made hundreds of thousands of dollars, at least on paper. If you didn't own a piece of real estate, you woke up and the rent was more and everything went up.
Yeah.
And now if you want to buy a house, they're more expensive and interest rates are higher and inventory's low because of Wall Street and just the big investment activity. The government's not doing anything about it. Government affordable housing is affordable rentals, which keeps people renters forever
Yeah.
and
Section
just
8.
feeds into the money machine. So we're helping with home ownership. But to me, the tip of the spear was to help people save the homes they were already in, because that's probably the most affordable house. And we have innovative solutions. Like if someone just can't afford a payment, an investor might be able to come in and buy a percentage of that person's home. So maybe they buy 30% of the house and now the payment goes down 30%. So they own 70% of a house, which is better than 0%.
Yeah. No,
So
I like this. I like it.
we're trying to bring innovation into affordable housing. And it's fun.
It's brilliant though. People just, I mean, so as a homeowner, because I still talk to homeowners in distress all the time, and people that own buildings and just all the things that I buy. So how would someone find you? I mean, let's just say I talked to a homeowner this weekend. They were in
Yeah.
trouble, and they're like, "Hey," and whatever. How do they find you? And then how do you decide? Because you do. I'm assuming you're doing this nationwide.
This year we're doing it in North Carolina.
Okay, so right now you're doing it in North Carolina.
And we'll be branching out state by state once we have the right people to run each state. Because every state's a little bit different.
Right,
But with my old company, Connected Investors, at our core, we were a data company.
right.
So I can find every single mother of three in North Carolina that's about to lose their house to foreclosure. And we will proactively reach out to them
So
and
you
help
reach
them.
out and try to find them. So you can just kind of go
Yeah.
through all the foreclosures or the bankruptcies or whatever records and like, hey, we have some solutions for all of you.
Yeah. We can cross reference those with the number of children in the house. And we prioritize the more people live in the house, the higher priority it is because we want to save homes. So if
Yeah,
five
right.
people live in one house, it's one house, but 5 homes, right?
Exactly.
So we want to help as many people as possible. And really, a lot of people are like, Ross, you're going to help these people and they're going to fall back into foreclosure because, habits are habits.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. But my answer to that is we'll keep them in their house for at least another year or two. And if that keeps a kid in their middle school for a few more years, if it helps them stabilize a little bit and find a place, it's okay. Because if the house goes into foreclosure, which it's not going to if we're a part of it, Saving Homes will still get its money back or a portion
Yeah.
of
So
its
you'll
money
still
back.
make your money back that way.
we just want to help them, even if it's just a bridge for a few years. We just want to help these individuals. Then we do have aspirations to, to build homes and to do all that stuff. But the first step is to get really, really good at this, create a machine that's running without me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm on these podcasts, just to talk about this. And, what's great about running a nonprofit like this is everyone seems to want to help. In my
Oh,
business
people
days,
do. People do want to help.
I'd always be like, please introduce me to someone, help me. But with the nonprofit, people are introducing me to people 10 levels up. They're donating, they're doing podcasts, they're sharing it on social. People in real estate want to help, probably especially your audience, because you lead with
Yeah,
your heart.
they do. Saving
Actually,
the heart of my shirt.
yeah, you pull up savinghomes.org while we're chatting, you'll see the logo is actually a heart. It's like a house with a shadow that looks like a heart. So it ties right in
Oh,
with your brand.
see, there you go. I got my
I'll
heart
have to send you
set
some
up.
merch.
As an
Yeah.
investor, say I'm a real estate investor and I want to help with you. So I donate like I would donate to a church. Or
Yeah,
like
it's a
I would
tax
donate
write.
to an organization, I get my tax write-off. I'm not
It's a
going to
tax
make
write-off.
any money back. Your company is going to make money back when the people move or sell or refinance or whatever they do. But from my point of view, I'm just like, here you go. Here's 10 grand and I have a tax write-off.
Yeah, you have a tax write-off, and so that's only really $5,000, right? But the cool thing that there was a few things I didn't realize when I started this. Number one, let's say your uncle was going into foreclosure.
Yeah.
If he came to you and said, I need 15 grand. And if you gave him 15 grand, you can't write that off with your taxes. It's a gift.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he can go to Saving Homes and you can donate to him through Saving Homes and you can write it off. So that's
Oh,
huge just for families.
gosh, that is huge.
And
Wow.
also,
Yeah,
yeah,
let me know when you get to Colorado. I've already got a whole mountain of people right now. Oh my gosh, they could all use your help.
yeah. And then the banks, I didn't realize how much banks would want to give to this charity. If you think about it, it makes sense
It does
because
make
they're giving to the charity and then the money's going kind of back to the banks.
Yeah, that's really good. So you get banks to donate with you guys, and then not
So
necessarily the bank that the homeowner's in, just a bank, and
yeah,
they donate money in. Yeah, that is really,
if
I
Bank of
think it's
America,
brilliant.
yeah, if Bank of America donated 10 grand into us, you know, it's going to, a portion of that will probably flow back into them, help stabilize homes and families. And then we're helping people get stable. So it's really exciting. And like I said, the fact that it keeps growing and growing gets me really excited.
I know, just hearing about it, like you have such a good heart for people. That's one thing I really love about a lot, not all investors, but most investors, is that we all really have truly a heart for people, whether it's helping a homeowner or like for me, I train, it's helping a new investor get started because it's a great business. Real estate's a great business to be in, and as an investor, you have like a whole network of other people. Like it's like a great
Well,
club to be a part of.
yeah, I was talking to someone the other day, very wealthy. They probably make 350,000 a year. They don't invest in real estate. And they were giving me all the excuses. And then I was just future casting with them. I'm like, in 20 years, what does your life look like? And then we did it again with them owning 10 houses paid off.
Yeah.
And it was just monumentally better to
Yeah.
have and own real estate. That's your retirement. This
Yeah.
person is in a cozy job, but they could be fired any day.
And,
The sec-
anything.
you know,
It's not
so
working for the man, like till you're retired anymore because there's no man. It's like people just get, people get canceled and all the stuff. It's like, it's ridiculous. But you're right. I told my kids as we raised that, listen, y'all are going to buy rentals. You're going to own rentals. I don't care if you want to have them or not. You're going to have them because someday you're going to look up one day and go, wow, I'm 40 or 50 or 60 and be like, oh, I should have listened to my parents when I was, 18.
well, that was the reason I got into real estate at such a young age is because I just wanted to ride my bike. I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to get just a handful of properties and then I can ride my bike and travel forever. And that was a motivating factor for me at a young
Yeah.
age. And the first The second house I bought was right near the college.
Oh,
I
nice.
lived in the house and I had 2 garage apartments and I was making nearly $1,000 a month in college living at my house.
There you
I was
go.
financially free.
Yeah,
$1,000 a month. My friends were flipping burgers. I was flipping houses.
that's it.
Yeah, it was a big, big difference. So if you're young watching the show, if you have kids, I mean, gosh, just get them into real estate young because
Yeah.
it is being me starting young, being here today. Actually, you know what? I wrote a book, Real Estate Investing in Your 20s. If
Oh,
you if you
I'll have to
email
get that.
me, yeah, I if you email me, I'll send it to you. It's the Ross at Success Cap. Great book to give your kids. And this book is really interesting because I wrote it when I first started. So I was broke, a dumpster diver, and I just thought, hey, I'm going to become a real estate millionaire. I better write this down. So I wrote this book during the journey, which is rare, but it's a very fun read, I would say, for anyone in their 20s. It starts off with me dumpster diving, and even through real estate investing, I wound up at the Playboy Mansion, and it goes through all these crazy,
Wow.
crazy times. I did some things I didn't realize were illegal. They weren't necessarily unethical, but I learned a lot of things the hard way. It's a really fun, raw read.
I did some
Um,
stuff like that too when I was really new, like, getting people loans and giving them a second mortgage and satisfying it at the closing and for years. And someone's like, that's illegal. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that's what my title person, how's that not legal? So I did a few things. I just literally didn't know. And if you get in trouble, the judge is like, well, lack of knowledge is not a reason to get off scot free for stuff. But I did a lot of stuff that nobody told me. And it's like, everybody was doing it. And you see everybody else doing it. And the title company's okay with it. And you're like, okay, I can do this. And then you're like, oh shit. So I've told
yeah,
people about a lot of stuff too. Like, listen, all these things, don't do that. But you
yeah,
don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. But I found the people that if you're doing something, I don't know, people that were doing things on purpose that they knew were bad, those are the only people I ever saw get in any trouble. And
Yeah,
to be
me too.
honest, they didn't even really get in any real trouble.
No.
It's just kind of a slap on the wrist in a way. But yeah, the biggest trouble that my partner and I ever got into
Is
was
this your
around.
real partner or is this Dr. Elliot?
No, this is my real partner.
Okay.
Was around bandit signs.
No.
I didn't know you couldn't just put them up everywhere.
Yeah.
So my partner and I put hundreds of them up, and then the town didn't like that, and
Did
we
you
had to
get
wind up.
fined?
Yeah, it cost me a few grand.
No.
They gave me some time to take them down, and then any I couldn't find, they fined me on. Um, but then actually, I learned one of the best tactics after that happened. So I'll share this with you. So what I would do, and I would knock on the door of if I was driving around and I saw a house that looked like it was an investment property, you know what I'm
Yep.
talking about, long grass, no one lives there. I would put a sign in the yard.
Yeah, that's what I do. I was just going to tell you. Put them in the yards of the vacant houses.
It would say, yeah, and what it would say was investor special. It's a property for sale, investor special, and call. So people would call, and I was building my cash buyer list. They'd say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm interested in that property. I'd say, oh, great, we're still working on some details. I'll give you a call back. And then inevitably, I'd get the call from the homeowner. And I was able to turn it around. I'd say, oh, I'm so glad you called. I've been trying to get in touch with you. Do you want to sell that house? And I bought some of my best properties that way. So I couldn't find them. They called me. We became
Yeah.
friends. And then I
Yeah.
already had the buyer's list lined up. So it was, I already knew how much the buyers wanted to pay for the property a
Yeah.
lot of times. So anyway, I turned a bad experience into a good one. And
Yes.
really, I think I read this the other day in one of the books I was reading. People judge a situation as good or bad, I think, too soon. Something happens and you're instantly like, this is bad, right?
Yeah.
You almost have to
Yeah. Yeah.
give
Yeah.
something like 3 months at least before you
Yes.
can say, yes, that was bad.
Yeah.
Um,
You have to work in 90-day cycles at least. You got to try stuff. I've been
yeah,
putting signs in the yards for like a decade. So I tell my students, I'm like, listen, put them in the yards, in a vacant house. And if you're not 100%, and if there's stickers on the window, like, for sure. And I said, but, and I tell people a lot of the homeowners will still drive by their house until it's all the way gone and the bank forecloses and the new families move in. People will drive by and just look at their house. And then they'll call you like screaming. And I'm always like, so this is what I do. I always say, they're screaming, there's a sign in my yard. I'm like, what address are you calling about? So I write it down. I was like, you know what? Those stupid kids are always moving my signs. Is that vacant house I noticed on the street? And then I just go into my spiel, say, since I have you on the phone, and I do the same thing. So, but I blame it on the kids first. I'm like, those stupid kids always moving my signs. Kids think that's fun. Do you know how many signs I've lost over those dumb kids? Where's your address? And then I go into my spiel. So I use vacant bandit signs like you do, because I have also been pulled over as I was putting signs on telephone poles by a cop, like, get that sign down. And then the cop left and I got back up with my truck and nailed it back up again. And then he looped back around. He's like, if I come here again, I'm going to put you in jail. It's like, okay. Taking my signs down. Taking my signs down.
It's just being scrappy and resourceful. When I started, I didn't have a marketing budget, but I had time. Yeah. So I would just drive around, knock on doors, put up signs. Yeah. Because one deal, like, that's what sold me on real estate. Like, one deal can completely change your life.
Your whole life. One deal changed my whole life.
That one deal I bought in college, that college rental completely changed I made thousands of dollars on that. And I just sold it like a month ago and made tons of money on it.
Yeah.
And and did a 1031 on that. And I bought my mother-in-law and father-in-law a house with that.
Aww, so that's so great.
Yeah. I actually did a reverse 1031, which I didn't know existed. You can actually, instead of selling a house and buy a house, you can buy a house and then sell a house and still get the 1031.
I didn't know that. You can, okay, I'm going to write that down because now I have to research that.
Yeah. First American, the company that bought me, told me about it. They do those. It costs probably around $5,000 to do, because you have to set up an entity, and there's a lot of like weird paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
But the profit's over half of that. I mean, it's a game changer.
Wow, I never heard about it. So thank you for teaching me that. When I learn anything, I'm always like, woohoo! I'm so excited. Okay, we're going to jump topics. Tell me, what's your favorite band of all time?
Sweet.
What is that?
It's Nirvana.
Nirvana. Oh, I love Kurt Cobain.
First time I ever listened to a song through a CD player with headphones was Nevermind, and it sounded so good. And now I'm trying to learn to play the guitar. And
I see the guitar in the background.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, going through, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 20 years older than you.
So I play a lot of
When Nirvana came out, that kind of music, it like people like stopped to listen. It was amazing. He was fabulous. I love that Nirvana. That's good.
Yeah, it was just what I grew up with. So yeah, quite a change.
Yeah. No, my kids are in their late 30s, so they're probably a lot of the same music that you listen to. But I liked all the music all the way through. I like all the music my little grandkids listen to. I always love music. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food would be anything my mom cooks, I guess. You know, just kind of feels like home. Yeah, she's Italian, 100%. So I guess, you mix some cheese, some pasta together, and you got a winner no matter what way you make it.
Italian food is so good. I don't think I've ever eaten anything Italian that wasn't delicious. Yeah. And what is your favorite part of the day? Just throughout the day, what's your favorite part of the day?
I would say the bookends, like just the very beginning or the very end. I'm very intentional on how I spend that time. I like the mornings when I can get them. And then the late twilight hours are really fun. Just a lot of introspection time and setup time. I guess that's the only time I have like control of my day.
Yeah,
right?
no, I hear you. Yeah, you're the first person that's ever said the bookends. And that is really, I might start using that because I like the early morning, but I really like it at night too. It's like time to relax and everything's off, and the phones are off, and so my husband's like, "This is so great."
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. The bookends. That is good. I like the mornings too. But sometimes, for me anyway, my mornings can get so busy. Like today, before I talked to you, I already had to be with my VAs. I went and got a haircut up here in the mountains and came back to my house and took a shower and did my hair and did my makeup. It was like, oh, I've been doing stuff
Yeah.
since 6:30 this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had a busy day already. So, all right. So I'm just gonna do a little tiny recap.
Let's do it.
So we'll just see if we learned a little bit about Ross Hamilton today. And like I said earlier, I like to ask just like questions like today, just talking and finding out about you. Because the people that are interested in what you like, they don't need to have a seminar today. They just need to have some fun, listen, learn, and they'll look you up and they'll hook up with you. So you started investing in your 20s, which I super love. You're 41 right now. You were a BMX racer, which is so fun, and bought your first property at 18, which is really astounding at 18 years old. You were a dumpster diver, which is so funny, with the padding and the carpet and the machines. And seriously, do you have all 10 fingers?
I do.
You have
I
all
do.
10 fingers? Okay. And you used to go to Barnes and Noble and read, which I can relate to because I used to do that in the beginning too. They didn't have the money. I was a single mom. So I spent so many hundreds of hours at Barnes and Noble, so many. And you're into affordable housing now. You have privatelender.com you sold, connectedinvestors.com you sold, and you personally are now into helping people. So you have savinghomes.org. So all y'all that want to invest, I think, or donate, this
Yeah.
is a great thing to donate to.
Or if you want to volunteer, we're starting to build our volunteer staff. So, if you have a heart for that type of thing, it's a cool way to learn about real estate too,
Yeah,
because
it
it's
is.
all real estate. It's essentially real estate investing without the profit. And so you get to kind of learn the ins and outs.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a great, amazing thing. Now, one thing I super love about your story is you had Dr. Elliott, who was like your fake boss or partner, so that which is really brilliant. Because then you can sit and talk to people, and if they ask you a question you don't know, you'll say, "Hey, let me ask my boss and get back to you," which takes all the pressure off of you having to have the conversation that maybe you don't know quite enough to have the full conversation. So I tell people always just say, "My partners and I will get back to you." But I'm gonna have them start making up a boss's name.
The whole name. Yeah.
That
Well,
like
in
a
today's,
whole thing. We have a whole story over here. It's brilliant.
yeah,
But I could see where it would take the pressure off of any new investor.
if you
Because
make them a doctor, they can always not be available.
yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Thanks,
sorry,
doctor.
he's not available.
He's
Yeah.
in surgery. He's doing brain surgery today. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Ah, I like your concept of what you're doing right now, where you help homeowners out. You do zero interest loans, and sometimes you make the money back. You save their house. Maybe buy it from them. Whatever you want to do. You're in North Carolina. You got to spread that to the whole state, because I know
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
thousands of people that would
This
love to
year,
be a part of
we'll
that.
be in 2024, we'll be outside of North Carolina. I just
Nice.
wanted to kind of perfect the model in one state.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'll just,
And you like Nirvana, you like anything your mom cooks, but she's Italian, so you can't go wrong with that. And you like the
yep.
bookends. You like the morning and you like the late hours. Is that like a
Yeah.
edge of what's inside the mind of Ross Hamilton?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fun summary.
That's a fun summary, right? So one more time, how do people reach you right now?
Ross at successcap.com. Send me an email. Ross at successcap.com. I'll send you my book that I talked about, some real estate courses, this guide that I created to essentially, it's a personal and financial transformation guide. It's like the questions to ask yourself. It's a 12-month planner that you answer some questions, and you can basically break down what to do and what your big roadblocks are. Yeah, I'll send, it's all the stuff I used to sell for a lot of money. I just give it away now.
Hey, I'm gonna have you send it to me. I'm always interested in learning golden nuggets from other people. Okay,
Yeah.
so folks, today, Dan, you have a podcast, right? Do you have a podcast?
I don't anymore. I
You
sold
don't
it.
have a podcast. Okay. So I was just going to say, if you had fun today, like both of our shows, but yeah, learned anything, you had a little fun today, give my show a 5-star review, subscribe, and follow the most wonderful real estate podcast ever. We have all kinds of fun guests, and everyone is amazing and interesting, and everyone shares their heart, and everyone has a great story. And all the stories are the things that help you guys become successful. Because I especially love the fact that, like, you're like me, like trial and error. And that's a super fun way to do it. So Dwanderful.com. And then also Ross at successcap.com. Okay, last things. I know we have to let you go. I want you to leave us with a word of wisdom, but it's actually just a single word, like a word of wisdom.
Momentum.
Oh, that's a good word. And tell me what momentum means to you.
Well, it's important to, if you have momentum in your life or in your business, if a train has momentum, they can bust through a brick wall. But without it, a single brick can stop it from moving. So get moving and stay in motion. Guard that momentum as much as you can, because it's the starts and stops are tough. Like just keep pushing. You have your momentum, you have your goals, you're going to learn lessons.
Yeah.
That's where you grow. That growth becomes the fuel for your momentum. So momentum, once you lose it, it's hard to get restarted. And get up and get going. Don't push anything until tomorrow, because tomorrow never exists. So do something today, even if it's just shoot me an email so you can get all those free resources. Like, do something proactive every single day.
I love it. So folks, that's your word of the week is momentum. And Ross just told you what momentum means to him. So again, I want to thank you for being on the show. I just super enjoyed getting to know you and talking. You're so much fun and you are brilliant. So I love that about you. And everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, we'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And remember that the truth is in the red letter. Ciao. Thank you, Ross.